What did you think of your wet welcome today?
Very good. I thought they were very nice coming out in all that rain.
Yeah, it was great.
Did you enjoy the rain?
Oh,
Yeah,
it
well,
was funny
seeing
standing there in your new coat.
Seeing as they got soaked, though, you know, we didn't mind.
We'd like to pay a tribute for you coming on the open cut in that cut ground, because the kids have been waiting all night and they appreciate it.
Well, they deserved it, didn't they, waiting all night?
I hope you're wearing drip-dry clothes, were you?
No, we thought it was going to be sunny.
George,
And our cases haven't gone
who
yet.
selected the name The Beatles, and how did you derive this particular name with
Well,
the
I think
BEA instead of
John
BEA?
got the name Beatles
In a vision,
ages ago, you know, when we needed a name and everybody was thinking of a name, and he thought of Beatles.
Why the BEA instead of the BE?
Well, actually, you know.
Well, you know, if they left it with BEE, it was hard enough getting people to understand why it was BEA, never mind.
Paul, what do you expect to find here in Australia?
Australians.
Do you have any acknowledged leader of the group?
No, not really.
Paul, we heard you stood on the balcony outside, is that right?
Pardon?
We heard you stood on your head on the balcony outside.
You don't have here some rumours.
You didn't stand in here.
How did the tickets go in Hong Kong? Did you get full houses there?
I think so.
Yeah. No, there was a few 5 quid seats.
Yeah, 5 quid less. Yeah, they were a bit hot, weren't they?
I would heard you. I wouldn't see me in for 5 quid, did you? I wouldn't want to see any of you for 2 bob.
John, has the Mersey fleet changed since you've been playing it?
Oh, well, we still keep on saying there's no such thing as Mersey, just something the press made up, you know.
Well,
We
what do
call
you
it
play
rock
the
and
same
roll.
way now as you did?
Just rock and roll, just so happens we write most of it.
Has Buddy
Yeah.
Holly influenced your music at all, Joe?
He did in the early days, obviously, you know. But, no, well, not obviously, but he, you know, he was one of the greats, and that. So we liked him.
Thurber, though, didn't he?
Oh yeah, but he doesn't sing so well.
Have you been practicing up your Australian accent?
No, Carl, we're not at all. We can't get it, you know. All
Do you
right,
think you'll be writing any songs with Australian themes when you're here?
no, we never write themes about anything, you know. Just write the same rubbish all the time.
You play the kind of music you want to play, or the kind of music you think people want to hear?
No, we've been playing this kind of music for about 5 or 6 years or something like that. It's just rock and roll, you know. It just happens we write it.
Well, what do you think made the difference that suddenly put you up above the other groups?
We got a record contract.
Speaking of records, what record do you all agree on, generally, as your best recording? Not the best seller, but as the best recording musically.
You mean our favourite?
Well, we always like the one we just made, don't we? So it's Long Shot Sally for me.
This is your latest
I
one.
like.
Well, it's quite new, you know.
I like. It's not even a single. Sorry. I like You Can't Do That.
What do you like, Jimmy?
What about you, Jim? You haven't said anything.
Yeah,
How do you
I like
feel,
that
Jimmy,
one.
being in with the Beatles?
Pardon?
How do you feel being in with the Beatles, a newcomers, standing in for Ringo?
It's a good experience, man.
How is
Marvellous.
Ringo?
He's much better. He joins them on Sunday.
What do you do then, Jim?
I go back to London and they're fixing up a band for me, and I do some television.
And he's away?
You've been progressing pretty well with your Beatle haircut.
Yeah, well, I've been growing it for about 3 months.
How long does it take to get a magnificent mane like this?
I don't know, I can't remember being without it.
Do you ever go to the barbers, John?
No, you know, I haven't had my haircut since the film, the woman on the film cut it good, but I don't trust anybody else. So
This is the film Beatlemania, is it?
no, it's not called that, that's another story.
It's got Hard Day's
Hard
Night.
Day's Night it's called.
Are you satisfied with the finished product?
Well, it's as good as anybody that makes a film who can't act, you know.
Are you individually millionaires yet?
No, that's another lousy rumour, wouldn't it?
Brian Epstein, a millionaire.
No, even he's not one, poor fellow.
Where does all the money go?
Well, a lot of it goes to Her Majesty.
She's a millionaire.
Isn't it a bit disconcerting when you go on stage and do your numbers and nobody hears them because all the girls are screaming?
Well, it's usually adults who don't hear them. You know, like in Hong Kong, in the paper it said, the Beatles fought a losing battle against the screams. Now, compared with other people, they were quite quiet, you know, they were still shouting. And most of the kids could hear it, but adults went out thinking, I couldn't hear a thing.
Are you very conscious of your responsibilities? I mean, teenagers dwell on your every comment and action. Do you feel very responsible towards this?
No, we just sort of behave as normally as we can, you know. We don't feel as though we should preach this and tell them that, you know, let them do what they like.
You know, we never used to believe it when in the old days we used to open a magazine and it'd say so-and-so doesn't drink, doesn't smoke, doesn't go out late. We used to do it. It's funny. So I mean, you know, we just act normally. and just hope that other people don't think we're a bit funny.
Now, you say you act normally, but how can you? How can you when you're getting so much money, when everywhere you go people are pressing around you, you can't see anything?
Well, you know, I mean, normal in the
As
in the
normal as we
environment.
can.
And also you brought back in England with the Beatles, the advent of the Beatles, people like Jerry Lee Lewis and Little Richard have once again become big names, haven't they?
Yeah, but there were always groups of people who liked them. You know, especially in places like Liverpool, there were always sort of staunch groups of fans who've never gone off people like that. Chuck Berry, Jerry Lee, Little
So
Richard.
you've more or less revived rock and roll.
Well, you know, revived interest in the beat music. That's all, really.
How do you fellows feel about the sort of music that people like 10, 12, 15 years ago, Frank Sinatra, Ella Fitzgerald, this type of jazz? Do you like it, or do you only like rock and roll?
No, but it's not the point. You know, recently Ella Fitzgerald's done. Ella Fitzgerald did "Can't Buy Me Love." Have you heard it? Well,
She did it like Ella Fitzgerald.
yeah. So you know, it
Not
doesn't.
to do it like Frank Sinatra.
Do you find much jealousy amongst other groups in England about you? Not come across it at all?
Not really, because most of the top groups out there are friends of ours, so there's none of that. You know, the jealousy is only something they mix up in the papers. You know, obviously they've got to keep the sort of thing going.
And then
all the groups that are anything over there are sort of best mates. So
And if any of them don't like us, then they don't sort of tell it to our faces. Anyway. We must just say it behind our backs.
What's your favourite entertainment medium? What do you like best, theatre or television? Or?
I like films.
He's going straight.
You've included that in the film
No,
stars,
you
right?
don't mean for. You mean for us?
For the Beatles, yes.
Oh, I thought you meant for
beg
when
your
we're watching, being entertained. Oh, well, I don't know, really. I think live shows are pretty good.
But they're all good because you get a change.
Yeah.
So that's the best thing again. You know, all of them together.
Is it true that you originally auditioned for 2 record companies before you were finally signed by EMI Records?
yeah, we made tapes for Decca, and I think
And Pi.
and but we
In
didn't
fact-
actually go to Pi.
In fact, EMI turned us down first of all.
Uh,
They did.
first
Oh, you may laugh, you may laugh. But
Don't
they
blame
did.
him after hearing the tape.
And then George Martin, he from EMI, he decided to sign us up just himself, you see.
I think I've got all the songs on.
How many records? Have you got any idea how many records you have sold around the world?
No,
Do I have just a rough idea?
I asked our publisher to give me
Last
an
time
idea.
I
He said
heard
so
it was
we-
around about 30 million.
Do you all read music?
I gave it.
No,
No.
none of us.
comics. We're good at comics.
You're talking about how you do like to be entertained. How do you like to be entertained? What's your busman's holiday?
Films,
Yeah.
shows,
All of you?
nightclubs, cabaret, and things like that.
Any
You go to a
more
nightclub
serious?
or a cabaret with that
Yeah,
mob.
yeah.
I don't
But
like
people don't walk
cabaret.
around in mobs, you know.
Is it true you can go to
outside.
I know, but I mean, if you go to a nightclub, you're not going to bump into 500 kids, are you?
this
Yeah,
nightclub
no,
in
no.
Liverpool, the Blue Angel? Is that a nightclub you can sort of go to and relax?
It was when we
A
were
lot
up
of
there a
friends.
lot, you know. I don't know. A lot of places in Liverpool have got sort of
Commercialised.
commercialised, so people come from all over the place just to have a look at them, you know. So I don't know now. I haven't been for years.
What was your Darwin reception like, by the way?
It was very good. We didn't know.
Yeah,
we
it
were
was
going to
3 in the
Darwin.
morning, I think, and we didn't know until we got about an hour away from it.
But apparently the press in down
How
known
many?
all day.
Apparently, no, I think they guessed.
Only some fella said that the police have been trying to keep it quiet here all day.
Look,
for
the
we found out.
BOAC spokesman said
Advertising again.
that it wasn't definite, but there was a slight
He's been trying to get one in
possibility.
for hours.
Can I now?
Here he is
Right.
now.
Ah,
Fellas, did you enjoy doing the Shakespearean excerpt in your TV show?
yeah. Except he made us rehearse for days.
And we still got it wrong.
Would you like to play legitimate Shakespeare?
Can't stand it.
Did you like the costumes?
Yeah, they were good for that.
Mod.
This lantern doth the honoured moon present.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've been likened a lot to the
Mark.
Marx Brothers. Do you find this a compliment? Do you dig this sort of
Well, it's
thing?
a compliment. Well, not for the half. You know, they're funny, aren't they?
When are you going to play the London Palladium?
Oh, we don't know.
Would you like to?
Oh, we've done
We've
it.
done it a couple of times.
What's the group you play with in England, Jimmy?
Huh?
What's the group you play with in England?
Well, I played with a lot of groups in England. Just before I left, I was playing with a rhythm and blues band.
You were the Blue Flames, weren't you, for once?
Yeah, that's right. Well, only for a matter of days. It was only till Friday I only knew that I was doing this on Wednesday, you know.
Does Brian Epstein manage you?
I don't really... No, he doesn't.
I don't really know. You'd know it if he did.
Jimmy, what was your first reaction when you were told that you were going to play with the Beatles?
I couldn't believe it, really.
Did you have to get their style?
No, we only rehearsed about 5 or 6 numbers, which took up an hour, and then...
Away you went?
Yeah.
If one of you stopped being a Beatle...
Pretty frightening?
The first show was very frightening, yeah. But, they reassured
But
me.
he did grand. He did
a grand job, he did that.
Thanks, lad.
George, if one of you stopped being a Beatle, what do you think you'd do?
I think I'd train elephants in the zoo.
That's quite
It's reported that you're the keen businessman of the group, is that right?
Well, yes, that's what it said in the paper. But, you know, I mean, I've never heard of it. It's a new one on me. And maybe, I don't know.
Do you have a contract to remain together as a group known as the Beatles? In other words, do you have contracts between yourselves?
Well, we're a partnership.
There's some sort of
that's what you mean.
No, what I meant was,
you mean
possibly
personally,
could
just
George suddenly decide to leave the Beatles group? Could you do that?
I think he could.
Well,
Of course he could, because I mean we wouldn't stop him.
no, you know,
Even
if
if they had a contract.
but even
We'd
with
have
that,
trying to keep him, you know,
Standing on
struggling.
I think there is a contract.
Not wanting to play.
That's what I
There is a contract between the 4 of us, but if I wanted to leave, then they wouldn't try and stop me, or they wouldn't sue me, I don't think, would you, fellas?
Now, apparently you earn many, many thousands of pounds a year, but how much money do you actually get to spend from your manager?
Well, we don't get money from him, we get money from our accountant, you know. All our money
Are you
goes
on a
to
regular
him.
basis?
Yeah, well, we don't hardly need anything, you know, because most things are sort of paid through the company, you know. We just hardly spend anything in cash. Just cigarettes and things, and even that, they bought by our road managers thing, you know.
We get a certain amount a week, and we've got at least half of it left.
What about clothing? Does it also come from the accountant too?
No,
Bills?
well, sometimes.
Yeah, well, usually we get our tailor to, you know, we order a few suits or how many we want, and then he'll send the bill into the company, because it's much easier for him to do that as well, and it's easier for us.
Well, you got 2 suits.
This leads into the next question. Now, on stage you all dress literally the same, but off stage I notice even here that you're all dressed quite different. Now, is this also something you make up yourselves? Or?
No, you don't want to. I mean, originally we didn't.
Who decided you to change from leather to natty suits?
It was. I think we decided.
Well, he tried to persuade us.
Because when we went down south, it was all right in Liverpool around there, but as soon as we went anywhere else in sort of jeans and leather jackets, they sort of didn't want to know, you know, because they wanted everybody in grey suits doing that.
You single chaps,
You know how they do it.
you single chaps really don't have any firm plans to get married in the next few
No, I don't like the idea of marriage. It's a bit frightening.
Why is that? Tell us more about that.
No, you know, it is, isn't it?
And we're all trying to save up a bit before we get married.
Did you enjoy your holidays to Tahiti and the Caribbean, wasn't it?
Yeah,
yeah,
we met one of your.
Some fella came swimming behind me saying, "You're having a good time," didn't he?
Yeah, saying I've come all the way from Sydney.
Yeah, as if it was my fault.
Why did you split up and take your holidays?
People like them.
It makes it harder for people, the press, to catch us up. If we all go together, it's a cinch, you know, going to the airport.
And anyway, besides all that, Paul and Ringo fancied going to wherever they went, and I don't know what happened to us. Somebody just gave us the ticket. And we just ended up there.
What do you think?
A couple of photographs recently came from America showing all of you, I think it was George and Paul, the one I saw, swimming, but both photographs in different places showed you with shirts on. Now, is this a regular thing to swim with a shirt on?
I think we were only posing for the press, and we weren't really swimming.
Oh, I see.
We just
Might have been
out
just
in like 2
standing
inches of water.
I don't think we were actually swimming, as it were, with shirts. Because
Right,
we always
white
wear
skin.
overcoats when we're swimming.
White skins with.
How do you feel before a show? Do you feel nervous?
Yeah. Before most
Depends on the
shows.
show, where it is and what it is.
How big it is?
Yeah.
Well, this is a new place.
You know, yeah.
Yeah, even if it can be a small show and a very new place, and you still get very nervous. You get nervous on the most ridiculous of things too. the Mersey Beat Awards. When we got an award from a Liverpool paper, the Mersey Beat, and you know it was only quite a small thing. The award giving compared to some of the big shows we've been doing, but we were all nervous.
Your dad's a bus driver, isn't he, George?
Well, he was.
He was.
He's got a gold plated horse.
What do your family think about all the attention shown?
Well, naturally they like it and they're all proud, and you know, just like if you had a son, what was a Beatle, or even if you didn't, you know, you're bound to like it more than any other club.
You live fairly close together,
Yeah.
All fellows who work so close together so often and stay and travel together, you must have an occasional argument. So how do you work it out of your system apart from going away on holiday?
Well, it's usually two against one or three against one.
We never have serious arguments. Or whoever can shout loudest. It's another one.
It's reported that the Rolling Stones will be the Beatles.
Well, it's untrue.
Sometimes untrue things are reported.
Oh yeah.
Dave Clark was bigger than us last
big, you know.
And Brian Poole the month before.
Records and things like that. It's true that, you know, they're not big enough, but they're big. And that's the truth.
How many people travel with you
Depends where we're going.
Three.
Now we've got 3 people. We've got a fellow who looks after the equipment, then our road manager, and then we've got Mr. Epstein's personal assistant here, Derek Taylor.
Correct.
That's in there.
When Brian Epstein took over managing you, how did he first promote you? How did he first start promoting you?
Well, when he first started handling us, he wasn't a manager, you know, in show business. He was a director of his father's business.
Come here, fellas, one last question.
So anyway, I'll tell you later.
One last question. Do you enjoy being the Beatles as much as you did, say, a couple of years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a different way, of course, but still not.
Well, that just about sums it up. And that's the end of our outside telecast, which was inside what is usually done
How long
with
have you been
the Sheraton Hotel, right opposite
Bye, everybody.
And we'll say a very good afternoon.
Goodbye. Ta-da.
Are these all recordings or are they live?
On air,
Some are filmed, some are...
Oh yeah, that's
How do they treat you in America? Very well, gentlemen?
Yeah, great.